spot yourself mid-reaction, heart pounding, voice rising, story spinning, and then suddenly pause and thought, whoa, what am I doing right now? That little moment, that is the observer. Hi, I'm Dr. Heidi Heron, and today we are talking about one of the most powerful inner resources you have, and one that plays a central role in both NLP and consciousness, the observer. Now, in NLP, we call this perceptual positions, the ability to shift perspective, to step outside of yourself and see a situation from another angle. But it's more than a technique, it's a way of living. A conscious habit of stepping back from the theater of your life to sit in the audience and witness what's happening on the stage. The observer is the one who notices without needing to fix. It watches without judging. It clearly sees things without being swept away. Neuroscience tells us that when we engage in this kind of self-observation, we activate parts of the brain associated with emotional regulation, insight, and compassion. Daniel Siegel calls it the balcony view. He says, when you're on the balcony, you can watch the dance floor below, but you're not tangled in the dance, you're seeing the patterns. Now, here's the trick. The ego doesn't love the observer. The ego likes certainty. It wants control. It wants to be right. The observer, on the other hand, is okay with uncertainty. It's curious, it's open, it doesn't need to assign blame or cling to a storyline, and that makes it incredibly powerful. Let me give you a simple metaphor. Imagine you're inside a snow globe. The snow is that swirling, the thoughts, the emotions, the reactions, triggers. It's hard to see clearly, but the moment you become the observer, it's like stepping out of the globe. You're still aware of what's happening, but you're not inside the storm anymore. You're watching the snow settle. And from that place, you have options. You can pause, you can choose, you can even smile at your own patterns without getting caught in them. In spiritual teachings, the observer is often linked to the soul or the true self. Eckhart Tolle calls it the silent watcher. He says, when you recognize that there's a voice in your head that pretends to be you, and you listen to it impartially, you are no longer trapped in it. That is, you don't have to stop the thoughts. You just have to stop believing that every one of them is true. You don't need to reject the emotion. You just need to know that you are not only the emotion. Now, in NLP, we practice this through second and third position. You're in first position when you're fully in your own seeing everything through your own eyes. Second position is seeing the world through somebody else's eyes, somebody else's perspective. And third perceptual meta position, that's the observer. That's the fly on the wall, the neutral, compassionate witness. And here's where the shift happens. When you step into that observer position during conflict, you stop reacting and start understanding. When you bring the observer into your internal dialogue, your inner critic loses its sting. When you observe your fears, your sadness, even your joy, it doesn't disappear, it expands. It becomes something that you have a relationship with. So instead of something that owns you, it's something you own. One of my favorite reminders comes from Viktor Frankl, a neurologist and Holocaust survivor, who said, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space, there is power to choose our response. Our response lies in our growth and our freedom. The observer is that space. So how do we access it? Well, first key is awareness. Start noticing the moments when you're caught in the swirl, when you're fully identified with the drama, the problem, the emotion, and then pause. Even just take a breath and ask, what else is there? And another great way is to literally shift perspectives. In NLP, we do this physically. We put a chair beside you and imagine sitting in it as the observer. Or what do you see now? You can close your eyes and imagine floating above a recent challenge. And from that higher view, what can you notice? What changes? You can even play with language. Instead of saying, I'm anxious, say, well, a part of me is feeling anxious, or even I'm noticing anxiety. It might sound subtle, but it's that shift that's very profound. You've gone from being the experience to witnessing the experience. In Buddhism, this is called mindfulness. In quantum theory, it's the observer effect. In NLP, it's third position or meta position. In spirituality, it's your connection to presence, all pointing to the same truth. When you stop being the storm and start watching the sky, clarity returns. You may not always like what you see from the observer seat, but you'll always have more power from there because consciousness lives in choice and choice lives in awareness. So next time you're in it, in mid-conflict, mid-panic, mid-pattern, remember, there is a version of you that can step out and look around and respond with wisdom. That version is always available, always watching, always ready to help you come back to center. And that is the beginning of living from consciousness. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. You've just taken one more step back into the truest part of you, and I will meet you there again soon. Be sure to catch the full consciousness series where we dive into different aspects of consciousness and its benefits for you. I'll see you soon.